Hello class. In this video, I want to continue going through the syllabus and focus more on the actual assignments you'll be doing for our class. So let's jump right into it. One thing that I mentioned in the last video was the online homework platform, which is called Connect. The online homework will be worth 20% of your grade, and I'm planning to release one homework assignment per chapter in our class. So you'll log in, you have to create a McGraw-Hill account to be able to access the homework through Connect. Once you do that, you can find the homework right there through your Connect page. They'll also be linked from there where the assignment is listed on Canvas. So 20% of your grade, you can submit things late, but there will be a penalty for any late submitted work. And the lowest homework grade gets dropped, meaning even if you have a 0 on something, if it's only one assignment, that grade will not be counted. If you have 100% on everything, one assignment still gets dropped from your final grade. So whatever your lowest homework score is, that grade will be dropped. In addition to online homework, I'm planning to write some written problem sets. The idea behind written problem sets is it gives me the opportunity to actually check your work. So as part of the written problem sets, you'll actually be writing out your solutions and submitting that written work on Canvas. You can do this several different ways. You can just write it out on paper and then take a picture of it, upload that picture to Canvas. You can save it as a PDF, upload the PDF to Canvas. You can just turn in the written work to me. Turn it in my office or turn it in when you have lab. Any way you want to get those written assignments turned into me would be fine. And the written assignments will also be worth 20% of your overall grade. They have the same late penalty of 5% per day. For the written assignments, I specified weekday. In case you are trying to hand in a physical copy, I'll only count days that campus is sort of normally open. The lowest of these grades will also be dropped from your final score. Discussion posts. These are discussion on the discussion section in Canvas. These are worth 10% of your grade. Basically, every chapter, I will post some discussion topics, and it is your job to respond to those discussion topics with a meaningful post, as well as reply to some of your classmates' posts. This is one of the best tools we have for simulating that in-class experience in an online environment. I know it's not the same thing as an in-person discussion. However, it's one of the only ways that we really can be social in a situation like this. And so I'm going to try to utilize this to mimic that kind of social interaction. So it is important that you are responding in a meaningful way. Just saying something like, I agree, or good thought isn't good enough to actually earn a full grade. So the grading criteria are listed here on the syllabus. And basically, the question you want to ask yourself is, am I adding value to this discussion thread? So when you're thinking of posting, just try to frame it in terms of that question to decide if it's a reasonable or a kind of meaningful post. So again, this will be one assignment per chapter, and overall come to 10% of your grade. And on the syllabus here are some guidelines that you can read through on your own. The first one I'll just highlight here, just saying something kind of throwaway like I agree is not really enough for a full post. Also, lab assignments. Lab assignments will be 20% of your grade, and there will be 5 labs total. Lab is a key component of a chemistry class and really any science class, because lab gives you an opportunity for that hands-on experience with the material. Especially those who have a more kinesthetic learning style, lab is a really good way to reinforce the ideas that we're learning in the classroom. Lab consists of both pre-lab and post-lab work. The pre-lab work must be completed before your lab time, and that'll be posted on Canvas. Post-lab work is due a week after your scheduled lab time. So your lab is on Monday. The post-lab kind of lab report is due the following Monday. And the questions that are needed for the post-lab work are included in the lab. So all you need to do is just look up the questions in the lab, answer those correctly and appropriately, and you'll get a full grade. Exams. The exams are also worth 20% of your grade, and there are 2 total exams. Because we are doing this partially online system, the exams are going to be administered electronically on Canvas. However, as part of the exam, I do require that you'll submit handwritten work as well. The reason for that is that it gives me an opportunity to check for partial credit. So if you kind of know how to do a problem, or you know how to at least set up a problem, I can give you partial credit for that, even if you don't get the correct answer. Another thing that handwritten work helps me do is try to avoid cheating. Cheating is a really big problem in online or hybrid classes, and having that handwritten work gives me just one more tool to try to check for cheating. So handwritten work will be submitted with the exam. Essentially, you'll take the exam. The exam will be administered on Canvas. You'll write out your answers for certain questions that require handwritten work. There will be some multiple choice and some kind of free response questions. The free response questions, you'll write out your handwritten work, and then you can take a picture of that and submit it on Canvas, just like you would for one of the written problem sets. And also, we will have a final exam. The final exam is worth 10% of your grade. It is comprehensive, meaning it covers the full class, and it'll be the same format as the previous exams. So taken on Canvas, including some handwritten work. Here is the grading scale. North Park does use a plus-minus system, meaning there are A's and A minuses, B pluses, B's and B minuses, etc. And it follows a pretty standard scale, so you can see that scale here on the syllabus. One of the other major points I want to discuss in this video is academic honesty. Academic honesty is so important, especially in these online or hybrid classes. There are many different tools for cheating, for doing things dishonestly, especially when we're doing everything remotely and we don't have those extra checks for any dishonesty or cheating. At this point in your academic careers, you know what cheating looks like. This has been pounded into you over the years. And so I just want to highlight a few things that are going to be relevant for our class. First of all, I want to address using the internet to search for answers. We all use the internet to look for things when we're unsure. It can be some trivial debate like who won the World Series in 2014, or it can be something really meaningful and important like the answer to some important question. But I do want to give you a couple points of caution, or a couple points to look out for. First of all, the internet isn't always right. I have seen over the years many students submitting wrong answers that they simply just pulled off of the internet. So you always at least have to put some thought behind what answers you're finding from the internet. Also, simply speaking, if you're copying and not thinking about a topic or an answer, then you're not learning. And the reason you're taking this class, the reason that you're in college, is to learn. So if you're just copying something just to get a good grade, sure, it might help your grade, but it's not going to help your learning. Also, that copying isn't necessarily going to help you on your exams or in future classes. So I really encourage you to at least be mindful of what you're pulling off the internet and when, and at least put some thought behind how you are arriving at your answers. Also, the internet will be strictly prohibited during exams. Your exams, you're expected to take them completely on your own, and so you can't look things up or just search for things online during an exam. While you're doing problem sets, homeworks, or labs, sure, use the internet as a resource, but again, I would caution you to be aware of how you are arriving at those answers. I would specifically caution you against websites like Chegg and Course Hero. These are websites where will be able to submit answers. You purchase a subscription, and you can submit answers where so-called experts will answer those questions for you. This includes submitting lab questions, homework questions, and even exam questions. Unfortunately, I have had students cheat off of these websites. It's sometimes hard to catch, but when we do catch this sort of thing, it can be very bad for your grade and bad for your academic career. If I catch any cheating, I expect I would give a 0 for that assignment, and it could have even worse consequences because it has to get submitted to our academic dishonesty committee. So just be aware that these sites do not necessarily have your best interests at heart, and you will not necessarily be learning the material if you're just submitting your questions and pulling the answers directly from them. Okay, we're getting towards the end of the syllabus. I know it's been pretty long. We've been at it for about half an hour already, combining both videos. So let me just see if there's anything in this last section that I really want to highlight. Lecture attendance. I'm not taking lecture attendance, meaning I'm not going to write down during every class who is attending. It's up to you, but attendance is highly encouraged. It's the best way to connect with me and connect with your classmates to make sure that you're learning all the material possible. Science is a naturally collaborative environment. I want you all to work together, and I want you to work with me to help your learning. Of course, you can't take things too far. If you're working with somebody and just copying their answers, then that's not going to do you any good. But I do hope that we will all be working together to try to learn this material, especially if science doesn't necessarily come naturally to you. You'll want to pair up with people or get extra help from me in order to help you as much as possible. Even though lecture attendance isn't required, lab attendance is mandatory. There are a couple of you who are taking this class fully online due to some medical or travel concern. And I will address those of you individually on what the requirements are. But for everyone sort of taking this class in its normal format, laboratory attendance is required. You have to complete all the labs in order to pass this course. The reason for that is because lab is such a important component to this class. Again, giving you that hands-on experience and showing you how these concepts that we learn from the textbook or learn in the classroom are actually used in the real world. Exam makeup policies. I really don't offer makeup exams unless there's some really dire circumstance. So, of course, if you get sick and need to skip an exam, fine. If a family member gets sick, that's fine. But under normal circumstances, you're expected to take your exams during the scheduled time frame. Behavior, you all pretty much should know how to conduct yourselves in the classroom, act appropriately, don't talk over me or each other, that sort of thing. Cell phone usage, you know how this goes. Don't have your cell phones going off even on vibrate during class. It's really disruptive. The worst thing is when a student is texting someone like right in front of me in the classroom. Like you could tell, right? Like you could tell if somebody picks up their phone, does this, and then puts down their phone. You're texting someone. it happens every semester, and it's like, I'm right here. I could see you. I could see you doing that. So just don't be rude about it. Like I know, I know how addictive these things are, but like it's rude. So please don't do that in the middle of class. Lab included, right? If you're there for lab, even if you're waiting around, try not to be just glued to your cell phone. Engage in the experience. There are some other notes here in the syllabus that I'm not going to spend a lot of time on, but I do want to point out that they're there in case they do apply to you. Pregnancy, I have a little paragraph in here. Students with disabilities. The most common way our disability service is used is to give students special accommodations for exams. So if this is something that you think you would qualify for, especially if exams give you kind of undue anxiety and you have issue taking exams, you will want to reach out to our disability office and see if you qualify for accommodations. Every single class, or I would say the majority of classes that I teach, have at least one student who's getting accommodations. So if you think you would benefit from this, reach out to our disability office. Title IX, everything should be equal opportunity, and that includes avoiding or addressing any harassment or discrimination or sexual violence. These should be directed to our Title IX coordinator and addressed immediately because those are obviously very serious concerns. Finally, I will end on our schedule. So this is a shortened course. It's going to go pretty quick. In week 1, we're going to be basically covering all of chapter 1. We won't have an actual lab on week 1, but we'll still meet during the lab time for a lab introduction. Then week 2, we're basically covering one chapter every week. So week 2, we'll cover chapter 2, and that's when we'll also meet for our first lab. I believe that's it for this video. Please reach out to me if you have any questions in terms of how the class is going to be run, the assignments, accommodations, the schedule, anything at all at any point during the semester. Definitely feel free to reach out to me. Email is a good way to reach me. Some of you have already emailed me, which is great. I love hearing from students. Microsoft Teams. If I'm available, connect with me on Teams. You can come see me in my office hours if I am on campus, but I'm expecting this semester most students are going to be reaching me remotely. Email, Microsoft Teams are great ways to do it. Okay, this is going to be great. I look forward to this semester. It's going to be weird and going to be kind of maybe not what we were all planning for, especially you all who are just starting out college. Maybe this is not the college experience you were expecting, but we're going to make the best of it. And this is all only temporary. We're going to get back to normal soon, but I look forward to making this semester the best semester that it can be and connecting with all of you through this very unique and historic time. So that said, I will see you all either in the classroom or in the videos for Chapter 1, which I plan to record shortly. Thanks.